All right, so we've got Election Day 27 days from now. Obviously, President is the top of the ticket and the race that most are focusing on. We've got congressional races as well, and also some judicial races in the state of Mississippi. And one of those candidates for state Supreme Court representing District 2 is David Sullivan, who's kind enough to join us this morning. David, appreciate some of your time. Good to be with you. How are things?
Things are great. I'm glad to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. A busy run-up to Election Day, now less than a month. And I feel like people look at judicial races a little bit differently than they look at a race for Congress or Senate, whether it's at the state level or at the federal level. As you have gone through this process of running for a seat on the state Supreme Court, what have you learned as you've talked to people about how they view electing judicial candidates versus maybe electing other candidates?
That's a great point. You know, this summer at the State Bar Association convention, an old retired judge told me that nobody cares about judicial elections except the candidates. And it really rang true because as a nonpartisan candidate, it is hard to get the message to everybody and to focus on the issues rather than partisan politics. And that's where we are in our country today. And so, you know, the first question you're asked by almost everyone you meet is, well, are you Republican or Democrat? And you have to go through the gymnastics of explaining that you're not really allowed to speak to that and that your goal is to represent everybody, regardless of their political affiliation.
When you talk about impartiality in the judicial, I certainly understand setting aside political allegiances. Like, okay, I'm Republican, Democrat, whatever. You want to rule in a fair way based on the facts of the case. But the truth of the matter is we're all shaped by our experiences in life. What experiences have you had that make you the right candidate for this position on the state Supreme Court?
Well, I don't know if you know or not. My father was Justice Mike Sullivan, who served on the Mississippi Supreme Court from 1984 till 2000. And he died of lung cancer at the age of 61 as presiding justice. And so growing up, I had a front row seat to how the court works and how the job is done, because this is something I have always wanted to do, believe it or not. When I was an Eagle Scout, I had an opportunity to participate in state government, and I chose Chief Justice of the Mississippi Supreme Court. And this was when my dad was still a chancellor, and I shadowed Chief Justice Vernon Broom back when I was, I think, in the 9th grade. So this is a goal that I've always had. And my experience as a civil insurance defense lawyer for 16 years, my dad taught me a lesson about integrity very early on. My dad wrote an opinion that said the insurance contract is a veritable trap for the unwary. Now, can you imagine working in the insurance defense industry and having your father write an opinion like that? If your dad will vote against his own
Dad,
son's
you're really not
industry. Right, exactly. That conversation was had, by the way. But, you know, his rock was, I'm here to serve the people, all the people, not my family, not my friends, not the people who put me here, financially speaking. So, you know what I mean? Backers, because politics is politics. I'm learning fast. I've never run for office before. But that lesson I learned early on taught me that a judge has to be impartial no matter who the parties are, no matter what the issues are, and follow the Constitution to the letter of the law. It's just that simple.
David Sullivan visiting with us. He is a candidate for District 2, Position 2 on the Mississippi Supreme Court Justice. He is facing an incumbent candidate, an incumbent justice, which I would assume makes this a slightly more difficult process for you. I mean, anybody that follows politics knows that when you go into an election cycle and you have an incumbent, it's more of an uphill climb for the challenger.
That is correct. You know, and Justice Beam is a nice lady, but I feel like I bring more to the judicial table. You know, we spoke last night at the Pearl River County Republican Club, and she has says that she is a sure bet with a proven track record. And my response to that, and my response last night was, if you think there's any such thing as a sure bet, ask an Alabama fan how they're doing this week. So I also have experience that my opponent does not have, and that is that I'm a former prosecutor. I do criminal jury trials, civil jury trials, and I'm also a municipal judge. So I serve as a defense lawyer, a prosecutor, a civil defense lawyer, and a municipal court judge. So, and to me, municipal court is ground zero of the legal system. We see more people dealing with more issues that are more personal to them than the big money issues and the big time crime issues and everything that you see in felony court and circuit court and in federal court. We deal with the people every day, and we have to treat them with dignity and respect. And because we are most people's only interaction with the legal system, and as as representatives of the legal system, as advocates for the legal system, as ambassadors for the judicial system, I feel that municipal judges have a very big role in society in, of course, keeping law and order on a neighborhood or citywide basis, but as well as treating people right so that they don't walk away with a negative impression of the legal system, the judicial system in general.
Visiting with David Sullivan, candidate for District 2, Position 2 in the Mississippi Supreme Court Justice. He was born in Hattiesburg, has been on the Mississippi Gulf Coast for the better part of 3 decades. You know, I think about confirmation hearings for Supreme Court justices, and you have partisan politics that very much play a role there, and you've got congresspeople that are asking questions and they're looking for gotcha questions. I'm not doing that at all, but I am curious. With the state Supreme Court, primarily it's reviewing lower court and appeals and making interpretations and rulings on those. What do you see as the biggest issues on the horizon for the Mississippi State Supreme Court?
Well, of course, I can't comment on any issue that might come in front of the court, my opinion-wise, but I do see the big possibility of the initiative and referendum coming back in front of the court, as well as, with who knows what's going to happen with the upcoming elections. And, I feel like the court is always going to deal with the most difficult challenges. And the court primarily, again, here's the majority of a lot of criminal cases, death penalty cases, capital murder cases. I tried a capital murder case last summer in Pearl River County where I was appointed not because for my skill level to represent a young man that was, accused of capital murder. And I don't believe my opponent has that experience. And I really want to focus on what I bring to the table. As there's no way to know exactly what issues we'll face as a court, but I feel like my well-balanced approach puts me in the best position to make a decision on any issue that comes in front of the court.
David, we've only got about a minute left, and so I'll give you kind of the final word this morning. You have outlined some of the reasons that you think you are the right candidate for District 2, Position 2 on the Mississippi Supreme Court. If you are meeting a voter who does not keep up with judicial elections but knows that that's going to be on the ballot, and you're trying to persuade or convince that person that you are the right candidate, that you would like their vote, what is your pitch to them?
My pitch is simple. I am a regular guy running for office. I'm not a politician. I've never run for office before. I am running for this seat because it matters to me and because I feel like I can do a great job for the state of Mississippi. I have support of all the business leaders, mayors, sheriffs, major restaurant groups all across the coast. And these are people that know me as David Sullivan, the lawyer, the dad. I'm a conservative Christian. I hunt, fish. I live and breathe for football season. I'm just a guy that you can hang out with and a guy that you can talk to. I treat everybody with respect and dignity. And, I just want to bring that to the court. I work hard. I am a good family man, and I truly believe that I can do a great job at this. I mean, isn't all our goal to be better than our dad was as men or guys, And that's one day I'm going to take you out, old man. I used to joke with him about that. I didn't, of course, anticipate him dying of cancer, but
yeah,
here we are.
Thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate you sharing your story and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.